Hi, have you ever wanted to dress like a vampire, but is it just too costumey for you? Well, this is the video for you. Today I'm going to talk about vampire aesthetic, but make it wearable. As alternative people, or as not alternative people, just as people who like vampires, sometimes you just want to dress like them, but we don't want it to look like a costume. So today I'm going to show you some items that I think are very appropriate for everyday wear, that can look very vampire-y and that aren't just too costumey. Let's start off with the first item of clothing that I've chosen, which is bell sleeves. I will say that most of these clothing items that I will show you are meant for women, just because most of the people that watch my videos are women. But also as a woman, I don't really know how to incorporate men's styles as well as women's styles. This is a top from AliExpress. I will put every single link in the description bar down below. I've got this top myself and it's great. I love the bell sleeves on this. This just looks amazing with like a skirt, a like mini skirt. Obviously this might not be appropriate for work or such because it's got a very low cleavage. Most of the things that I will show you are actually from Shein. I have chosen Shein just because it is a very cheap website and it is a website that delivers to most countries. And what I thought was very important, that I just don't talk about high-end stuff that most people can buy. So yeah, I wanted something that most people can access. If you thought that that was too extreme because, well, the cleavage was very low, we've also got this one, which is much more subtle. It still has got a sort of a bell sleeve. It has these cutouts here which make it a lot more interesting to look at. This one is just a little bit more appropriate, and for €7 you can't really go wrong. Like this, paired with like a nice sleek pair of trousers, can also make it look very vampy. If you have bought your bell sleeve, maybe you would also want a poet shirt. We all know this look by Lestat the Lion Court. This is an iconic look. What you need to look out for with poet shirts is that they don't look too costumey. Oftentimes they look too costumey because they've got too many frills going on. And you do want to avoid that many frills because it just doesn't look natural. This top that I've chosen the color white, it's also in black. I've got a very similar top to this in my own closet and it's great. As you can see on this picture, the model wears it very casually. It doesn't look like a costume at all. It kind of looks businessy. And that's exactly what you need to go for. Look for a frilly top or a poet shirt that looks more businessy and costumey. This just makes a really nice base for something over the top. If you find a really nice, almost vintage looking jacket on top of this, this would look great. But also on its own, just as a poet shirt, this is a good basic to have. If you want something that's a bit more 21st century, go for something like this. For me, this almost seems like a teacher's outfit. But it can look really like a vampire's outfit if you pair it with the right things. So in this picture she paired it with a pink skirt. Obviously you wouldn't do that. So this isn't also bad at all. And what I really like about this, what the other blouse didn't have, is that the sleeves are kind of poofy right here, which also gives it a more classic look. And then we have these kind of tops. This obviously isn't really a bell sleeve, but I still wanted to include this. The way that this is a shoulderless top makes it a bit more historic. What you could also do, which I really like, is having this underneath a sort of like a corset. That's an advantage of wanting to look like a vampire. You can get away with wearing lots of white and lots of black, because that basically are the main colors that you want to aim for. We now have covered tops. Well, we also need to cover coats and jackets. I've got two options for coats and jackets. This one is one that is very similar to a coat that I have. This is like a military jacket. This can be worn very casually, as the model does, but if you wear it right with like the frilly blouse underneath, you already look a bit more like an aristocrat or like your general vampire. But obviously, as I said with many things, don't take this too far. If I may give you advice, go for one or two key items in one outfit and base your outfit around that. Because if you would include every single item that I've mentioned and you actually wear it, well, it will maybe look a bit costumey, so watch out for that. I think that this is a great option for if you want to have a bit of a dressed up coat. We could also do Celine from Underworld coat. And obviously Celine is an iconic vampire. So obviously I needed to include a leather coat. This one is a little bit short, I would say go a little bit longer, but this was the only one that I could find that was the right texture. Wearing two leather pieces combined, such as leather boots and this coat, might give you the same look and will not make you look very costumey. So yeah, this is a very good staple to have. Obviously you can dress this down, dress this up. This is an item that I honestly can't live without. Like, my leather coat is also something that just makes me look very badass. I also want to talk about shoes. This is the only item that I will talk about that is not cheap. Like all the other items, I've gone for items that are under 30 euros just because I wanted to make it affordable for people. But if I have to be honest, if you want to look like a vampire without it looking costumey, go buy some New Rocks. This is kind of a staple in the vampire wardrobe, just because if you know the musical Tanz der Vampire, in the end song that they do, many people of the cast wear these shoes. Although New Rocks are very expensive, they are totally worth the money. I've had mine for around 4 or 5 years and they're still going strong. These are the ones that I have. These are the ones with skulls, and although these are pretty much amazing, if you want a subtle hint to vampirism, go with the ones with bats on them. Now obviously these are not shoes for all people. These are very expensive and usually you can't get away with these in normal working environments. But if you want to invest in a good pair of boots that will also give you the aesthetic, I would definitely consider New Rock boots. We obviously also need to wear something on our legs. So I have come up with a few skirt ideas. I didn't really find any good like trousers or jeans or anything. For example, this one is a khaki one, but this just screams Victorian to me. That is an era that most vampire stories take place in. Always look for a skirt that's below the knee, because obviously in historical times people would not really wear short skirts. So this is a really nice one. Also the texture is really nice. Also a bit more historical, but also a bit piratey, which I also appreciate to mix and match, is this skirt. This is also a long skirt and it has like a tie-up corsety thing going on at the waist. And imagine this with like your bell sleeve shirts or your poet shirts. For long skirts with like a corsetry thing around the waist, and that will just make your outfit look more historical and more vampy basically. If you don't want to go as far as going very historical, I would recommend something like this. This skirt is very modern. I would have liked to seen it in a high-low composition. Obviously the high would still be very low, it would be below the knee, but it would usually be a bit more common for people back then to wear skirts that weren't one length, because it was more practical. This one is fine if you want something in black. I found dresses a bit hard to look for, because most of the dresses that I found were very much like prom dresses or like nice fancy dresses. But I still want to show you some, because you might need a fancy dress one day and you might want to look like an awesome vampire. This isn't like an everyday thing. I still think that this is a gorgeous dress. And the way that this is tight at the hips and loose at the bottom of the legs just makes it look so very elegant and quite a bit of vampire-like. If we want to take it a bit more 21st century, I would go for this item. I love the sleeves on this one. Like, these sleeves are a little bit historic, but also very much up to date. Also, the length isn't floor length, which is nice if you just want to make this look casual. Yeah, same idea, sweetheart neckline, but you can pair this with like a few accessories to make it look very vampy. go for example with dark lip and you're done. Lastly, I want to talk about accessories. The thing that I want to talk about most is like these sleeve slash glove things. I'm going to talk about Interview with the Vampire again. This very last scene in which Lestat pulls up his like sleeves from his coat, that is such an iconic scene, and I just want these like gloves, sleeves, whatever, just to put under my coat and do this because, well, it's iconic. Be fancy with them because they look awesome. Although it might be a bit cheesy, I would recommend going with a choker, but I would recommend going with a choker that is a bit more subtle. So something along the lines of lace or velvet, or something that just gives off a bit of a more elegant look instead of like a big heavy choker that just screams, I still wore this from when my emo phase happened. For example, this one, this is a very classic and nicely nude. I would never wear a nude necklace, but this just looks kind of elegant with a bit of lace, and this is just a nice way to top off your outfit. Talking about subtle chokers, this one is also perfect. Like, this is velvet, I believe, with a fake pearl. This with like the nice top that I've showed you, which was shoulderless. That makes this an outfit, people. These are the items that I've chosen to go with the theme of vampire aesthetic but make it wearable. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you liked me, please stick around and subscribe. I make videos about lots of topics, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!